The day she walked into my courtroom holding that baby, the whole room changed. If stories about mercy and responsibility matter to you, stay with me, subscribe, and share this with someone who still believes kindness matters. I remember the hush that came over the benches. I remember the tiny blanket, the tired eyes, and the way that young mother tried to stand tall. Right then, I knew this would not be an ordinary morning. Comment right now and tell me this. Should a courtroom only punish, or should it sometimes heal? I've sat on the bench for many years and I've seen every kind of pain. Hit that like button if you believe justice needs both strength and heart. Some people come in angry, some come in ashamed, some come in so scared they can barely speak. But when a young mother enters with a baby in her arms, the law is no longer just words on paper. It becomes something human. Join me for this story and subscribe if you want more moments that remind us who we are. The stakes were bigger than a traffic ticket. Thank you for being here. Please share this if compassion still moves you. It was about dignity. It was about accountability. It was about what happens when life keeps pressing on a person who is already carrying more than most people can see. And I could feel, even before she said a word, that this case was going to test me. Wait till you hear what happened next. But first, subscribe and stay with me. Let me take you back to that morning in Providence. The courtroom was full, but not noisy. There was the usual shuffle of papers, the quiet cough in the back, the clerk calling names. The police officers stood where they always stood, calm and alert. I had already heard several cases that day. Some were simple, some were frustrating, but I was settled in. I was focused. If this kind of real-life story speaks to you, please subscribe, because I want you here for every minute. Then I looked up and I saw her. She was very young. Too young, I thought, to be carrying so much on such little sleep. Her hair was pulled back in a hurry. Her coat looked thin for the season. The baby was wrapped close against her chest, and she kept rocking gently without even thinking about it. That movement told me everything. She had learned how to comfort someone else before anyone had comforted her. Hit that like button if you've ever seen strength hiding inside exhaustion. She stepped forward when her name was called. Her face was serious, not rude, not careless, just worn down. I looked at her, then at the baby, then back at the file in front of me. The charge was a traffic violation, serious enough to bring her into court, but not the kind of matter that defines a whole human life. Still, rules matter, order matters, safety matters, and I could not forget that just because my heart was already softening. Comment below. Have you ever made a mistake while carrying more than anyone knew? My first impression was simple. She was frightened, but she was trying to be respectful. She answered the clerk clearly. She didn't interrupt. She didn't roll her eyes. She didn't act as though the court was beneath her. She stood there with that child in her arms and waited for me to speak. In that moment, I felt two things at once. I felt concern for her, and I felt the weight of doing my job fairly. Join me. Subscribe for more stories where judgment is never as simple as it looks. You know what struck me right away? It wasn't just the baby. It was the way she kept apologizing to the child under her breath whenever the baby fussed. She was embarrassed, not for herself, but for disturbing the room. That matters to me. Manners matter. Respect matters. My father, God rest his soul, used to say that character shows itself most clearly when life is hardest. Thank you for being here. Please share this if you believe respect still counts. I asked her to tell me what happened. She spoke softly. She explained the stop. She explained where she had been going. She said she had no one to watch the baby. She said missing court was not an option. She said she knew she made a mistake. No excuses, no blame, just the truth as best she could offer it. That kind of honesty gets my attention. If that touches you, please subscribe, because truth still matters. Now, I want to be honest with you. The title of this story sounds soft and sweet, and in many ways it was. But there was also tension in that room. Not anger from her, tension from life itself. The baby started crying. She tried to bounce the child gently. She looked mortified. You could see her thinking, please don't let this make things worse. And I remember feeling my own chest tighten. Hit that like button right now if you've ever watched someone trying not to fall apart in public. I asked a few more questions. She answered each one directly. She worked part-time. Money was tight. Childcare was uncertain. Transportation was unreliable. Nothing in her story sounded polished. It sounded lived in. It sounded like a person walking on a narrow ledge every single day, trying not to slip. I've seen thousands of cases and I can tell when someone is performing. This young woman was not performing, she was surviving. Comment: should courts make room for real life or just read the file and move on? Then something happened that I never forgot. The baby made a little sound, half cry, half cough, and the mother looked down with such worry that the whole courtroom seemed to lean toward her. She wasn't thinking about the ticket, she was thinking about that child. In that instant, I saw what mattered most to her, and when I see a parent whose mind is fixed on a child's well-being, I pay attention. Wait till you hear how that shaped my decision, but first, subscribe. Here's the thing. People talk about kindness as if it means weakness. They think mercy means the rules do not matter. I don't see it that way. Real kindness is disciplined. Real mercy looks hard at the facts. It does not pretend a mistake never happened. It asks a deeper question. What outcome serves justice best? Thank you for being here. Please share this if you believe fairness needs wisdom. Before I tell you exactly what I decided, let me tell you about my struggle. Part of me wanted to treat this case like every other file. Just process it. Move on. Keep the line going. Court calendars are crowded. Time is short. Emotion can cloud judgment if you let it. But another part of me could not ignore what was standing right in front of me. A young mother showing up, child in arms, because she respected the court enough not to run from it. If this touches you, please subscribe and stay to the end. My father's voice echoed in my mind. He worked hard all his life. He taught me that the law should never lose sight of the people it serves. He also taught me that responsibility matters. You don't help people by treating every mistake like it means nothing. You help them by telling the truth with compassion. That balance is not easy. It never has been. Hit that like button if you believe both accountability and mercy belong in the same room. And yes, I thought about my wife later too. She has a tender heart and a clear eye. More than once, after a difficult day, she has listened while I walked through a case at the kitchen table. She reminds me that every person in court goes home carrying the result of what we do. A fine may be a number on paper to some people. To a struggling parent, it can mean diapers, groceries, or medicine. Comment below, do we always understand the cost of a penalty? 2 days earlier, I had a woman named Maria in court. I want to tell you about her because contrast teaches truth. Maria was older. She was nervous from the moment she approached the bench. She had a worn handbag, tired shoes, and hands that shook when she opened her papers. She had made a mistake too, but the first thing she said was, "Your Honor, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong." That sentence changed the air. Join me, subscribe if stories of humility still matter. Maria explained that she had been working 2 jobs. She had missed a notice because she was caring for her sick mother. She didn't ask for special treatment. She asked for a chance to make things right. I could hear the sincerity in every word. There was no entitlement, no performance, just humility. That matters in my courtroom. It should matter everywhere. Thank you for being here. Please share this if respect still means something in your life. I helped Maria because she helped herself first. She showed remorse. She showed effort. She treated the clerk kindly. She thanked the officer. She owned her mistake. So I reduced the burden where I lawfully could, and I wished her well. As she left, she turned and said, "You gave me hope today." Those words stayed with me. They reminded me that justice can correct without crushing. Hit that like button if you believe mercy should lift people, not break them. Now, why am I telling you about Maria? Because life presents us with 2 very different kinds of hardship. One is honest struggle. The other is avoidable harm made worse by indifference. When someone comes before me with respect, I lean in. When someone shows no care for others, I have to think harder. The young mother with the baby was not Maria, but she shared something important with her, humility. If that touches you, please subscribe because humility can change everything. That is why this case was different from what some people expected. I did not see arrogance. I did not see a smirk. I did not see someone checking a phone while court staff spoke. I did not hear excuses wrapped in attitude. What I saw was fatigue, fear, and love, strong love, the kind of love that shows up. The kind of love that carries a child into a courtroom because there is no easier option. Comment right now. Is showing up its own kind of character? I'll tell you something personal. Cases like this stay with me longer than the loud ones. The defiant cases can make you angry, yes, but the quiet cases can break your heart. I have walked to my car after days like that and sat in silence before turning the key. I have asked myself whether I was too soft. I have asked whether I missed something hidden. I have even lain awake thinking about whether a different ruling might have helped more. Wait till you hear the moment that brought me peace, but first, subscribe. That day in that courtroom, I looked at her and I looked at that child. I thought about the law. I thought about the message to everyone watching. I thought about the officers who do their jobs. I thought about the clerks who keep the system moving. And I thought about the public trust. Mercy cannot be random. It must have a reason. It must teach something. Thank you for being here. Please share this if you believe justice should leave people wiser. So I began to explain my reasoning out loud. I wanted her to hear it. I wanted everyone in that room to hear it. I told her that the rules of the road matter because safety matters. A traffic violation can become tragedy in a second. I told her being a parent does not excuse a mistake. In some ways, it makes the duty even greater. She nodded. She listened. She held that baby closer. Hit that like button if accountability spoken with kindness feels more powerful than anger. Then I said what was in my heart. I said, in substance, that I could see she was trying. I could see she had come to court despite real hardship. I could see she was not laughing at the process or brushing it aside. I said the court should never confuse struggle with disrespect. That distinction matters, not because I wanted to be sentimental, not because it was easy, but because it was right. Comment below, was that the fair thing to say? I looked her in the eye and told her this. I said I was going to resolve the matter in a way that held her responsible without burying her. I reduced the financial burden as far as I could within the law. I made clear that the violation was real. I made clear that she needed to be careful going forward. But I also told her I would not ignore the effort she made by appearing, by telling the truth, and by carrying herself with respect. If this touches you, please subscribe and share it. When I said that, her face changed. The tension left her shoulders first, then her eyes filled. Not dramatic tears, just the kind that come when a person has been bracing for the worst and suddenly hears a human voice. The baby had gone quiet by then. The whole courtroom seemed still. Even the clock felt louder. I remember that silence. I remember how heavy and tender it was at the same time. Join me. Subscribe for more stories where one moment can change a day. She thanked me in a voice so small I almost didn't hear it, and that touched me more than I expected, because gratitude from someone under pressure is a deep thing. It means they have not let hardship harden them. I told her to take care of that baby. I told her to take care of herself too. Too many young parents forget that second part. You cannot pour from an empty cup forever. Thank you for being here. Please share this with a parent who needs encouragement. Now let me tell you what happened after. She stepped away slowly. People in the courtroom watched her differently than before, not with pity, with respect. A few smiled. One staff member helped guide her toward the door so she could manage the baby and her papers at once. Small kindnesses matter. They can restore a person's dignity in ways big speeches never do. Hit that like button right now if you believe little acts of grace still matter. After court, I kept thinking about her, not because I doubted the legal part of my ruling. I was comfortable with that, but because I know mercy carries risk. Sometimes people take advantage of it. Sometimes they hear compassion and mistake it for permission. That possibility always weighs on me. I never want kindness to become carelessness. My hands were not shaking that day, but my heart was heavy with the responsibility. Comment below. Do judges carry cases home more than people realize? That evening, I talked with my wife. I told her about the young mother and the baby. I told her about the look on the woman's face. I told her how the room changed. My wife listened the way she always does, with patience and wisdom. Then she said something simple. You saw her. Those 3 words stayed with me. To be seen in a hard moment can save a person from despair. If that touches you, please subscribe, because being seen matters. Would I make the same decision again? Yes, I would. Not because every struggling person gets the same outcome. Each case stands on its own facts. but because that decision respected both the law and the human being before me. That is always the goal. We are not machines. We are not stamping papers in a vacuum. We are making judgments that land in real kitchens, real cars, real family budgets, real tired hearts. Join me, subscribe for more stories about justice with a soul. People sometimes ask me what I have learned after all these years on the bench. I have learned that money cannot buy decency. I have learned that manners reveal character. I have learned that arrogance is often fear wearing a proud face. And I have learned that everyone deserves respect, but everyone owes it too. That young mother understood that. She gave respect. She received it back. Thank you for being here. Please share this if you believe respect should travel both ways. Here is the life lesson I want to leave with you. We all make mistakes, every one of us. The question is not whether we fall short. The question is what we do next. Do we hide? Do we blame? Do we act as if the world owes us a free pass? Or do we show up, tell the truth, and face the consequences with dignity? That choice can change everything. Hit that like button if you believe showing up still counts for something. I also want to say this to every young parent listening. Don't confuse one hard season with your whole future. A bad day is not a bad life. A ticket is not your identity. A courtroom appearance is not the end of your story. Keep going. Ask for help when you need it. Take responsibility where you must. And never let shame convince you that you are finished. Comment below if someone once showed you mercy when you needed it most. And to those who have never stood in that kind of struggle, I ask for a little humility. You may not know what it means to choose between work and childcare. You may not know what it means to come to court after a sleepless night with a sick baby. Before you judge too quickly, remember this. Strength often looks messy from the outside. Wait till life tests you, then you'll understand. If this touches you, please subscribe and stay with this message. In the end, that case reminded me why I took this oath in the first place. Not to impress anyone, not to dominate a room, not to act important, but to serve justice in a way that honors the law and the people bound by it. That is sacred work to me. I pray for guidance in it. I always will. And when I get it right, I am grateful. When I fear I got it wrong, I keep reflecting. Join me. Subscribe for more stories about conscience and compassion. So if you remember nothing else from this story, remember this. Kindness is not the absence of standards. It is the application of standards with wisdom. Accountability is not cruelty. Mercy is not surrender. The best judgments hold both. They tell the truth about a mistake while also making room for redemption. That is the kind of justice I believe in with all my heart. Thank you for being here. Please share this with someone who needs hope today. And to that young mother, wherever life has taken you, I hope you kept going. I hope that baby is thriving. I hope that moment in court gave you one breath of relief when you needed it. I hope you remembered that respect opened a door for you. Most of all, I hope you learned that being overwhelmed does not make you unworthy. It makes you human. Hit that like button right now if you believe compassion can change a life. My father, God rest his soul, taught me that the true measure of a person is how they treat others when there is nothing to gain. That wisdom lives with me every day. In a courtroom, in a kitchen, in a neighborhood, it still holds. Be decent, be honest, be accountable, and when you can, be kind. You never know what burden another person is carrying in plain sight. If this story moved you, please subscribe, comment, and come back again. And if mercy has ever lifted you, remember to pass it on. A kind word, a patient ear, a second chance can steady a life that is close to breaking today. From my heart to yours, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope this story gave you something more than entertainment. I hope it gave you perspective. I hope it reminded you that justice at its best can still be humane. And if you are walking through a hard season, don't give up. Keep your dignity, keep your faith, keep showing up. Good luck to you, and God bless.